Over the past week, a wave of elite machine learning engineers began quietly canceling their paid OpenAI and Anthropic subscriptions. This shift is driven by GLM-5.2, a completely free, open weights model developed by the Chinese firm ZAI. Reports of the model outperforming the established leaders have flooded developer feeds and coding forums. Tech leaders are watching this development closely. Elon Musk publicly noted its trajectory toward frontier class. Top-tier investors like Mark Andreessen are tracking how quickly these open models are catching up to the most expensive tools on the market. If you rely on an established coding workflow, you have a decision to make. You need to know if migrating to this free model is a viable move, or if the hype masks real compromises in performance. Choosing incorrectly means either wasting thousands of dollars a year on obsolete subscriptions or breaking a functioning enterprise pipeline for a tool that isn't ready. GLM-5.2 is built on a 744 billion parameter mixture of experts architecture. It maintains efficiency by only engaging a fraction of that network, about 40 billion parameters, at any single time a task activates. This allows for a 1 million token context window, giving the model the capacity to read an entire software codebase in a single prompt. ZAI keeps this massive context window fast by using a memory sharing technique that computes focus across layers and reuses it, rather than recalculating at every step. This architecture allows individual developers or small teams to run highly capable models locally without an enterprise server budget. Viral claims suggest GLM-5.2 has already overtaken the leaders. On Frontier SWE, a test of hours-long coding tasks, ZAI reported a score of 74.4, slightly ahead of GPT-5.5 at 72.6. It also posted an 81 on Terminal Bench and a 62.1 on SWB Pro, record-breaking numbers for an open weights model. These scores come from ZAI's own internal testing environment. They are effectively grading their own homework. To find the actual floor of its performance, we have to look at Artificial Analysis, an independent lab that tests all major models on a level playing field. This chart plots intelligence against operating cost. GPT-5.5 and Claude Opus cluster in the top right, representing high intelligence and cost. Here is GLM-5.2's independent position. It ranks fourth globally, just behind the closed-source kings, but sitting drastically further left on the cost axis. While it doesn't hold the top spot in raw intelligence, its fourth-place ranking makes it the strongest open weights model currently available. Raw intelligence scores only tell part of the story. Artificial Analysis also uses GDP-Val, a benchmark designed to measure how well a model completes real, economically valuable tasks. On that test, GLM-5.5 and GPT-5.5 are in a statistical dead heat. For practical, daily coding assignments, the output quality between the two models is effectively indistinguishable. Practitioners note that GLM-5.2 tends to over-explain its logic, which burns thousands of extra reasoning tokens per task. If your pipeline relies on completing practical, everyday development tasks, the quality gap between expensive closed-source APIs and this open weights model has disappeared. Using a closed model like GPT-5.5 or Claude Opus costs roughly $30 per million output tokens. GLM-5.2 costs a fraction of that. On output, the portion of the bill that accumulates fastest, it is nearly 7 times cheaper. Even when accounting for its tendency to be verbose, the base rate is so low that the final bill remains vastly cheaper than the alternatives. For an engineer running automated agents that write thousands of lines of code a day, a 7 times price cut is the difference between a prototype and a viable business. Using GLM 5.2 requires a choice on how to host it. Your specific privacy requirements will determine which of these 3 paths fits your workflow. Path 1 is for budget-conscious solo coders. You can download the compressed FP8 model weights and run it entirely offline on your own local hardware. Path 2 is the native ZAI API, which is the most convenient method for high-volume users. However, this path carries a strict compliance risk. Any proprietary code you process through this API will be routed directly through servers based in China. Path 3 is designed for enterprise teams. You can host the model on Olama's cloud, which runs on Blackwell chips located in the United States. This offers the speed of a cloud deployment while keeping your proprietary data strictly within U.S. jurisdiction. GLM 5.2 provides a viable alternative to the closed frontier on real-world tasks. Depending on your hardware and security needs, you can replace a $200 monthly subscription without sacrificing performance.